Hey, welcome back to another podcast episode. So, these episodes are going to be kind of like a little mini series. What I want to do here is just do like a daily life journal of me being an entrepreneur, things that are going on in my world, just because I want to connect with you more. I know that in order to really connect with each other, it's helpful to get to know each other, and a lot of times too, I love getting behind the scenes of other business owners and seeing what it is that they do, because that helps to give you a sense of, oh, it's not just all work. It's not just all strategy. It's not just all, the great business tips and things like that. So from here, this being the first journal entry episode, I look forward to having more like this in the future. But I just kind of want to start out today and just kind of tell you where I am in my business, and just in life too, because both of these really go hand in hand, and I'm definitely very, I don't even know the word, like passionate, or I definitely prioritize the fact that if you run a business, you own a business, your business and your life are practically inseparable. You go from one to the other, and you go back and forth, and business will be on your mind, and in time when you're just supposed to be thinking about family and personal things, and the vice versa will happen. Because from a very young age, from like the time I was born, my parents, they owned a business, and once I got to the age where I understood that, where I started noticing things going on of like, the way that our property was our house and my dad's shop building were right beside each other. He started on in this little tiny garage-like building, and then moved from there, which later became like sort of a garage down from the house before mom and dad added on the garage that is attached to the house, when I was probably, 8, 9, maybe. I can't really remember. But then they were able to build this much larger warehouse looking like building. So I grew up knowing that just their business was just part of life. It was part of our daily routine. Beginning of the week, mom would go up there. She would do payroll. She would do her accounting stuff. At 9 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, those were break times. I know I could run up to the shop, and everybody would be sitting around the break tables, talking, laughing, eating their snacks. It was a time you could go up there for about 15, 20 minutes and just chill. Everybody just used that time to connect and just relax and have fun. And being a family business, my dad employed, a couple of his brothers or his sister for a while, and sister-in-law. So it's like, it was a very, very family-oriented business. One of his brothers, which was my uncle, they have 3 kids, and at the time 2 of them were pretty close to mine and my brother's age. So there would be times where our cousins would come to work with their dad, and they would hang out, and we would get to play, because we were all homeschooled. It was kind of fun. It was like, hey, the cousins are coming over, we're going to play, we're going to go outside and do things. But I just remember, like, so much of that was just routine. Like, even my dad's schedule, he'd get up and go to work. Sometimes at break he might come in, but most of the time we would see him at 12 o'clock lunch, because that's when mom would try to have lunch on the table, or we would go out and we'd get lunch, we'd bring it back, and then dinner time. We had an intercom system in our house where we could page up to the shop and say, Dad, dinner's ready, and then wait for him to come in the back door and sit down and eat dinner with us. And sometimes, that was the end of his work day, but there was a lot of nights that didn't end his work day. He would go right back up to the shop after he sat and had dinner, maybe played with us for a little bit. He'd go right back up to work. And there'd be times I remember, like, not actually hearing him come in the back door again until I was in bed and the lights were out. You know, I might hear him come down and go in the back door, because my bedroom was on the back side of the house, like the back corner that kind of faced up to the shop too. So it's like I could hear the door slam from the shop, and I'd hear him maybe come in the back door. We lived in a mobile home, so like you can kind of hear things through walls pretty well. So I remember, like, I could hear, you know, when he started the shower water, because from my bedroom there was mine and my brother's bathroom, and then on the back side of that was their bathroom. Like, I could hear him come in and get freshened up, and it's like just knowing he was back in the house, like, I think it was that comfort for me. But like I said, it was so routine. Like, I just was kind of integrated into it from a very early age. And there were times that me and my brother or whatever, we would go up there and we would help with things. He had a metal machining and fabrication shop, so not always the cleanest work. There would be times we'd go up there and we'd have maybe a saw set up, and we'd just be cutting these blocks of metal so that they could be machined later. And they might have had to have, like, I don't know, 100 pieces or something. So we'd sit there and we'd cut those, and of course we got compensated with some kind of a little allowance or something, but we grew up kind of working and being around the family business. So it's really true. Like, even for me owning my own business, I feel like it's kind of this natural ebb and flow of life. There's times where, you know, I'm on my computer, maybe even on a weekend or a weekday afternoon or evening, and I'm doing stuff for a client. I'm working on, like, recently I've been working on an email sequence and getting the emails, you know, done up for her. I was actually doing some of that yesterday afternoon, on a Sunday afternoon. I was like, I have got to get these because her sequence starts Monday for this challenge she's doing. And so I knew I wanted to get those done so I could stay ahead of the game. So, like, it's kind of neat, and I feel like sometimes, you know, we try to separate it or segregate it out of, like, okay, business is this time, family time is this time. And, you know, honestly, I think you always have to find a way that it works for you. You know, with growing up and my parents having a business, it's like them being at work, literally they walked, I don't know, 50 feet maybe, and went into a shop building, and then they were at work. There were times that, you know, we had a business phone at our house, so it's like after hours if nobody was up there and there were calls, yeah, you know, they'd have to answer the phone or something. But they kind of knew, like, when was clock out time. You know, when you came in the house and you had dinner, you had lunch, it was clock out time. If you came in for the evening and we had family time, you know, that was clocked out. They weren't doing any work. And, like, for me, if I'm on my laptop doing things, yeah, I might kind of give myself a time limit. And then when I'm not, I'm technically not working. You know, I'm present with the family. I'm doing things in the house. And I feel like you have to find this balance, or this dance, I guess you could call it, is like, you know, this ebb and flow of what you consider is your work time and what you consider is your family and your personal time. Because, you know, in order for, like, our family growing up with me and my brother, my mom and dad, for us to, like, really get away from the daily routine and the work and stuff, you know, those were times when we took a vacation. We literally got away for, you know, a couple of days, a weekend, or an entire week to not have to worry about that pull of, like, well, I could go up there and do something. It was kind of, I think, my dad's thing of, like, you know, if I'm here and there's work needs to get done, I'm willing to get it done. And in order to take, like, a long extended break from that, usually we went somewhere. We got away from home because home life incorporated, you know, business life. Didn't mean he might not get a call while we're on vacation from someone at the shop saying, hey, I've got a problem, or I need to ask you a question about this. I need your input. But we were able to take that break to do something, for quality family time. And even now, like in my business, I notice that there's times where, in order to really get a break, it's like you have to shut things down. Like, even put the phone down and not go look at what emails came in, not go look at the different message places to see if somebody messaged you. It's like, or even think about social media. Like, if you get on there and you start scrolling, you're thinking, well, what am I posting? I need to post something. It's like that turns into some sort of work. It's, for me, it's like it's promoting and it's talking about what it is that I do. Technically, even right now, I'm recording this podcast, I could consider it work because I'm a podcaster and I'm about to go into my part-time day job and, take care of things that I need to there and for my employer there. So there's this need to just know that what I'm doing is not only just for me, it's in service to others and you listening to this. I hope that you gain this sense of, oh, wow, okay, other people, do juggle multiple things as they have their own business. And everybody finds their own unique rhythm to it. There's many mornings I don't even record a podcast before I go into my part-time job. I put it off and I procrastinate and think, well, I need to wait until I'm at home. I can use my podcast mic. I can set up my laptop and record a video, or wait till my daughter takes her nap, or maybe I could get up in the middle of the night when it's quiet or something. But it's like, I have so many minutes when I get to work after I've dropped the kids off and I have time to just sit in the quiet of my car before I go in and technically kind of clock in. And this morning I just felt like, I really want to do an episode. And I wasn't sure where I was going to start, but then I really felt this tug of, I just want to do kind of like a journal entry. So that maybe in the future, if I come back to this, I'd be like, oh, hey, that's cool. I really, thought that was neat that I was talking about this or that. And had no idea where the story was going to go today. But I feel like sometimes our heart just leads us in certain directions. And so I wanted to kind of give you that backstory on me, that you see that it's not just me owning this business and kind of learning how to blend it together. I have had so much experience from my childhood and my past that has led me to where I am, so that I understand kind of that give and take of having a business while having, family to take care of. I grew up seeing that as normal, seeing that as just the way we did life. And so it's not ever really been a transition for me with any business endeavor that I've done. And I'll save my list of other business endeavors for another podcast episode, another journal entry like this. But I've dabbled in a lot of different things. And, from public work to working my own business to network marketing and so forth. But just understanding that there's a lot of times that we pull from our past experiences and we bring them into what we're currently doing. For me, I bring in that past experience of how it was for me growing up and my parents operating a business while also, my parents being there for us, for me and my brother. My mom homeschooled us. She was, kind of working part-time and taking care of things for my dad's business to make sure that on the back end, when it came to the accounting, the payroll, and all that stuff was getting done, taxes and things, that she was managing all that while my dad was working in the business and, working with the employees and making sure that things got done on time and jobs got out the door. And just seeing that, made me understand that, a married couple or family, anybody can work together to do life and business all at the same time. And that it doesn't, it's a little bit of a struggle sometimes. There's things that are going chaotic in your business, maybe at the same time you're having family issues. But, they always found a way to work through it. And one of the great things about my family is they very heavily leaned on God through all of it. We went to church. We, prayed at meal times. I know that both my parents really depended a lot on God, and they gave back to God, and they blessed other people. I mean, how cool is it that, my parents were able to bless their family members and other people that they knew with the opportunity to have a job, to have an income. I mean, that in itself is a blessing. They're blessing those people and giving them that opportunity to earn a living. So, that in itself is a terrific thing that they were able to do, and that God enabled them to do that. So, I'm just going to kind of wrap this up here. I don't really know, the best conclusion to give on this episode, since this is, my first journal entry type episode. But if you've made it to the end with me, thank you so much for listening. I truly appreciate your support. I feel like by sharing our own personal stories, it really helps us to just embrace the brand of who we are, who God made us to be, the experiences that we've got, and just appreciate who we are and what has got us to where we are now. Because those are the things that people like you, if you resonated with anything I talked about, we're building that connection with each other. As you're talking about things that happened in your life, what you're going through in your business, how your business is serving, all these things are telling that message, telling that story, building that reputation for you, but also building that connection with your ideal audience and building community with each other. So, that's one of the great things about a brand. It really builds that community and connects with your audience. So embrace who you are. And by all means, embrace your brand, embrace your life, embrace your network, embrace everything about what God has given you, and especially your talents and abilities, because there's no one that can do exactly what you do in the exact way that you do, and that's what sets you apart. So I just hope that you have a blessed day, and I will see you soon.